has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
So, like, I'll always, if I see Flash, I'll always tell him, John Flaherty of the Yankees, Carver High, I'll always just tell him, like, I saw you on at Wrigley. Good job. That's what I always tell him. He does a great job. I don't, I caught you doing the game the other day. Great job. What else am I going to talk to him about? His wife? I don't, know him that well. I'm just friends with him through sports and television. So he obviously knows me, and he knows that I ball a lot, and he's seen me ball. And I saw him today, and he was like, he almost fell over when he saw me back there. He was like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "I passed my parole hearing, Flash." I go, "Great job at Wrigley." I didn't know he spent the whole weekend fighting with Michael Kay. That's what I'll bring up the next time I see him. So you don't like him either, huh?
I
don't have a problem with Kay. I don't have a problem with either one of them.
He did a rare series with Kay this weekend, and it made some news around.
The one I don't get along with is Susie. She hates me more than anyone. Wow. I'm number one on her hit list.
You got to remember something. She's hated plenty of people, and clearly they're allowed to reconcile with her because that's happened a lot recently too.
Just so we're clear,
everyone's allowed to reconcile.
I will never reconcile with that old bag. You can quote me on that too, loud and clear. I don't give a rat's ass. I can hate whoever I want. What are you gonna do about it?
We'll
I don't have to be nice to everyone. What is this? I'm the coolest dude ever. And if I don't like you, you have a problem because I'm nice to everybody. And if I hate you, you got a problem. As they say, if Bob Knight don't like you, you should move.
Here is Mike Tomlin for you, who you love. Mike Tomlin loves you too. Here's Mike afterwards. Of course, with the win, 18-10, the topics are always going to be quarterbacks with Mike because Justin Fields did get himself a win. But what happens if Wilson's healthy for next week? Mike wasn't really getting into a lot of that, but he said Fields played well.
Really appreciative of his efforts in his play, certainly.
What happened in pregame where you can take it to that decision-making progress? Was Russ even a consideration?
It's really, not a long, drawn-out process. I'd rather deal with short-term misery, to be quite honest with you. We're in week one. There's a lot of ball out in front of us. I just thought it was appropriate to put the healthy guys on the field. I felt really good about both quarterbacks. I was very clear to you guys when I named Russ the starter how comfortable I was with both quarterbacks. And so if that is true, why not be really comfortable with playing Justin under the circumstances with Russ being in less than ideal physical shape? And so that was the thought process. It wasn't a lot of discussion. Russ was very supportive today, and that was appreciated. But we went with Justin. Man, I'm glad we got two real capable quarterbacks, as I've mentioned before.
Listen, you have to play who is healthy. The one that is healthy is the guy that goes. They have both of them. One guy's an ankle breaker. The other guy is steady as she goes, I guess. I won't deny, I think Russell Wilson throws the ball better than Justin Fields. But Justin Fields can make plays that Russ Wilson just simply cannot, nor will he ever make. Okay? One guy is strictly a pocket passer, and the other, he cannot run anymore, Russell Wilson. Who are you kidding? And then Justin Fields can do both. One of them he does poorly, but the other one he does great. He runs the ball. He's dangerous. I mean, I think he's the most dangerous. Who's better than him running the football? Honestly, Josh Allen, maybe? That's about it. Who else?
Yeah, look, it's a short list. Lamar, Josh Allen. I mean, it probably doesn't go much deeper.
I'll give you Lamar.
It doesn't go much deeper than that. It does not go much deeper than that when it comes to quarterbacks running the football.
Fair enough.
I thought we'll talk about him later. I think that maybe Jaden Daniels might get himself in that conversation. But I think Jaden Daniels was more running for his life yesterday, Scotty, than anything else with Washington. So I don't think that was necessarily planned.
He's a toothpick, too.
And
honestly, he's going to get lit up. Someone going to light him up.
I thought the same thing late in that game yesterday. He was taking some hits, and I'm going, man, this game's over. What are they even doing keeping him out there at this point? He was getting smashed by Tampa in that game.
Pain day.
It's pain day, baby. That's how it goes. So the Steelers are actually road both weeks, right? They're going to Denver this week before the home opener in week number 3. So imagine that, Scotty. If they can start 2-0 on the road, that would be a big lift.
Let me just tell you something real quick. They never win in Denver. I saw them lose the 89 divisional semi. They should have won that game 5 times, and they still lost. They never win there.
The Tebow game they lost when Tebow hit him in overtime in that playoff game. Like, it's just weird stuff happens to the Steelers in Denver.
They just lose there.
They just lose there every time. The Bills start 1-0, 34-28. They were down to Arizona. They looked real sloppy for the first half of this football game. But then Josh Allen, Scotty, getting it going with a couple of passing touchdowns and a couple of rushing touchdowns. The second one on CBS.
Cook in motion. Allen in the pocket. Allen will run it himself. He pumps. Got some daylight. Hurdles to the end zone. Touchdown, Buffalo.
You know, I know you're going to we already know how much of an incredible player he is, but I'm not going to worry about his non-throwing hand. Like, that's like me worrying about Jack Sinner. Remember when the guy fell down in like the semifinal and got up? He's like, "Oh, my wrist!" And I was like, "Is that his serving wrist?" And I look and I go, "Oh no, it's not." So who cares? I don't care about if you shoot or you throw or you swing a racket with that other hand. Then I don't care about your non-playing hand. You got a little banged up hand. Oh, isn't that it's a pity?
He wrapped it up yesterday. He heard it on that second touchdown run. McDermott just talked about 20 minutes ago, and he said he's fine. He's playing Thursday night in Miami. They're the Thursday night game this week on the road. That was Allen's 4th career game with 2 or more passing touchdowns and 2 or more rushing touchdowns in the same game. It tied Steve Young for the most all-time in that aspect. Pretty good for a guy who everyone called the most overrated player in the league, right, in the offseason. Didn't they do some dopey poll about how he's the most overrated player in the NFL?
Any of that. I'm afraid of him.
Look, you know that I'm not really trying to be a homer in any aspect when it comes to this stuff. I'm pretty negative sometimes with my teams, with everything. My MVP comment to you earlier about Allen, I say it because of this. I say it because if he's able to win that division this year and have another 10, 11, 12 win season, and he has a billion touchdowns with that supporting cast. You see, I think for the last few years, you've heard, well, he's got Diggs, and well, he's got a great defense, and well, he's got nothing. This, and well, he's throwing touchdowns to Mac Hollins yesterday
in
the back of the end zone. Like, that's what he was doing. Kincaid had 1 catch. Like, a guy wasn't even on the field. Like, he's got a bunch of, Coleman had a couple nice catches in his first game, but he's not dealing with the same offensive weapons this year around him or the same defense. And if he goes and has a monster year, he's going to be in the conversation for that award.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. That's it. Without a doubt, baby. Cowboys, no doubt for them either. 33-17.
Boom.
Smash the Browns in Cleveland to start that season off. Dak gets a 4-year, $240 million contract extension right before the game. Highest paid player in NFL history. Let me quickly give you the Cooks touchdown before we go to break, and then we'll hear from Dak after the break. Here it is. Dak gets it going early, Scotty, to Cooks on Fox.
3rd and 5. Pressure right in Prescott's face. Letting it go. He's got it there for the touchdown. It's caught by Brandon Cooks.
Listen, I've told you, I don't like them, but I've told you they're going to win the division. I don't care about no one's ever won the division twice in a row in 50 years. I don't care about any of that. I also said, what was it, 10.5 win? They're going to win. They win 12 games every year. And I said to you that this year they're going in the playoffs. They're going to win. And they're going to be one of the last teams standing. I really believe that. I think they're one of the best teams in the NFL. And I said, not that it matters. I don't know anything more than the next guy. But I said they would kick the Browns' ass this week in Cleveland because Deshaun Watson sucks.
buy or sell. Anthony Richardson will be a top 7 fantasy quarterback this season. We're keeping this realistic here. We know that nobody would think that he'll be in the top 3, probably not even the top 5. How about top 7, George? Buy or sell?
If he stays healthy, top 5 is not out of question here at all. He's a running quarterback. We know how valuable they can be. My worry is going to be what I mentioned when we talked about the Indianapolis Colts. Boy, man, if Pittman were to go down, there's not a lot to throw. He'll be running for his life half the time there. I like Richardson a lot. Small sample size of what we saw of what he's going to be. I played the 5 games last year before the injury here. So, or a longer season, we'll see if he gets to catch up to him, what he can do. He's going to have to prove he can throw the ball to be down the field here. I'm going to buy this. All right, I want to buy on Anthony Richardson. I want him to be that guy because I want to see the excitement that he can bring. I think smart money might say go the other way because there's so many quarterbacks in that tier that hey, he could have a good year and still not finish top 7. That being said, I think he will show just like he did last year. He's going to be dynamic. I'm buying top 7.
Yeah, reminds me so much of Cam Newton in the early days too. I'm going to sell on this. I think it's too high. I think most leagues take away points for interceptions. If that's the case, I think his numbers are going to be 20-something touchdowns, 15, 16-something interceptions. That's going to negate some stuff. Yes, he will run. Can he play an entire season? Still very questionable for me. I have him as the 9th best fantasy quarterback at the end of the season, just outside the top 7. So I'm going to go sell on that.
Honestly, I mean, don't get me started. Listen, honestly, I watched Fox for 5 minutes, and I have never what is happening with the transformation of Terry Bradshaw. Listen, I already know you can make fun of me all day, pineapple head, everything else. Call me whatever you want. I don't look like Terry Bradshaw, okay? So I don't have that problem going for me. My man is Tales of the Crypt. He is the new king of the crypt. We got to put him right in the box. Honestly, Carver High, did you see that? What is happening there? That is, I thought it was a joke or something. Mafia said he was a Halloween costume.
It was a very tough scene for him yesterday. And look, you saw of the two, the big networks that got the NFL on during the day, you saw CBS kind of change up their group, right? They took Boomer out, they took Sims out, and they put Watt in and Matt Ryan, and right. They look a little young. Fox has had the same guys for 30 plus years now, and it's starting to get a little stale. And I know you love Terry, and there's other guys on there, Jimmy Johnson,
friends with Glazer and Stray, and all of them. I'm friends with all those guys, but honestly, I have never Terry Bradshaw. I was like, what is happening to Terry Bradshaw? From last year to this year, it's like a bad movie.
And this all, of course, came about because I said to you during the break, they got to do something with Brady because he was tough to listen to yesterday. How awful was
Brady?
And I know it was his first game, and I'm sure that's what everybody's excuse is going to be.
I don't care.
He was boring. He was stiff. And it just wasn't. It didn't work for one game, and they better figure it out fast because they're paying him a lot of money.
They're paying him a lot of money. I think it would be great at some point if he does it for another 3 or 4 weeks and then quits. Says this isn't for me.
But don't you think he's one of those I don't give a what guys? I could see him doing it, and then they just slide Olsen back with Burkhardt on because Olsen did the Steeler game yesterday with Joe Davis, and he was great. I thought Olsen was awesome during the Steeler game. Here's one more. Do you want to hear from Dak talking about all his money, that he's happy to have all his money? We'll play Dak quickly for you. Here's Dak. He's very happy. He doesn't have to answer any more questions about his contract.
Yeah, I mean, great team win, great team effort. We can be better on offense. Defense did a hell of a job. exciting start, though, super exciting start on the road, a place that we weren't very, very good in last year against a team that was great at home last year. Last year, but to turn the page and to start this year the way we did was huge. And for me personally, good just to honestly to finish these questions, and I hope after the day we're done talking about it in my pockets, I guess you can say, and can just move forward and focus on this team and the success that we plan to have and what we're working toward.
Okay, listen, first of all, is there anything worse, honestly, than the guy that says, I don't play for money in professional sports? Like, is there anything worse in the world than that guy? And he's the guy that does it all the time. I don't play this game for money. Yes, you do, you liar. Who are you kidding? I have never met, and I'm going to say this for the 50 millionth time, every pro athlete, I'm friends with thousands. I've never had one of them tell me that they didn't do it for the money. Every one of them, 100% told me they did it all for the money. That was it. Simple.
Yeah.
Just admit it. Like, in 4 years, this guy is going to be doing this again. That's what's crazy. Like, 4 years is like your kid going to college. And then I had a chick I knew went to Alabama. Like, oh, she's the most darling girl. I love her so much. She's at Alabama. How unfortunate that she went to that communist school down in Tuscaloosa. And then I burped and she graduated. She's in the real world now. I was like, wait, didn't you just go there last year? No, she's graduated and gone. She's in the real world now. That's how fast it's going to be before we have to listen to this guy again tell us he doesn't play for money. He spent the entire offseason saying he doesn't care about money. He doesn't care about his contract. Who are you kidding, bro? Like, are you kidding? What is this? To tell the truth? What is this, a game show? Like, honestly, I hate guys that just won't admit it. Like, I would love some dude to just come out like, man, I just love the bat. Do you remember, what was that game? What was that show with The Rock where they were all like the pro athletes and they were all like admitting they were doing it for the money?
That's it.
Gamers, what was it called? Which one I'm talking about? On HBO, whatever it was called. I don't care.
I don't remember either. One more thing from this game. The Rock. Yes, I know which one. Ballers. That was the name.
The Ferrall Ballers.
Was the name of this. The Ferrall Ballers. One last thing from this game, and then I'm going to move on, and we're going to get through the rest of the stuff. Watson's awful.
He's awful.
For Cleveland.
$260 million.
Awful. Like, he's really bad, Scotty. Like, I don't know what you do about that. Like, I guess they gave him all of it guaranteed, right? So I guess it's a little harder for them to swallow that because, like, Denver swallowed the Russell Wilson money. Like, I think Cleveland's going to have to start thinking about it because I know they probably can. It's probably a massive hit for years, but he is dreadful, and he shouldn't be playing. That's how bad
I don't understand how actually he got so bad. You're telling me that having a massage scandal did this to him? Like, because he likes going to massage parlors and he likes sex? That's the end of your career? That ruined him? Because I don't understand where he got so bad. On a sewer table? I really don't understand it because he was always good. And then when they banned him, right? Wasn't he out for a while? I think that's what did it to him. Not the inactivity did it to him. And now there's people actually saying, like, we got to go with famous Jameis.
It worked with
Danger.
Flacco last year.
Danger.
That's for sure. That is danger. We will come back and we'll hit a couple of very, very tough starts. The Bengals, the Giants, very, very tough start. We'll talk about the Dolphins and Tyreek. Both their his 80-yard touchdown and his pregame troubles that he had getting into the stadium, Tyreek Hill. So we have a lot more stuff from Sunday. Then we'll get to tonight. Jets and Niners, the final game of week number 1.
Miami Gardens, man. That's no joke, that hood. That is no joke.
buy or sell, Anthony Richardson will be a top 7 fantasy quarterback this season. We're keeping this realistic here. We know that nobody would think that he'll be in the top 3, probably not even the top 5. How about top 7, George? Buy or sell?
You know, if he stays healthy, top 5 is not out of question here at all. He's a running quarterback. We know how valuable they can be. My worry is going to be what I mentioned when we talked about the Indianapolis Colts. Boy, man, if Pittman were to go down, there's not a lot to throw. He'll be running for his life half the time there. I like Richardson a lot. Small sample size of what we saw of what he's going to be. I played the 5 games last year before the injury here. So, over a longer season, we'll see if he gets to catch up to him, what he can do. He's going to have to prove he can throw the ball to be down the field here. I'm going to buy this. All right, I want to buy on Anthony Richardson. I want him to be that guy because I want to see the excitement that he can bring. I think, smart money might say go the other way because there's so many quarterbacks in that tier that, hey, he could have a good year and still not finish top 7. That being said, I think he will show, just like he did last year, he's going to be dynamic. I'm buying top 7.
Yeah, reminds me so much of Cam Newton in the early days too. I'm going to sell on this. I think it's too high. I think most leagues take away points for interceptions. If that's the case, I think his numbers are going to be 20-something touchdowns, 15, 16-something interceptions. That's going to negate some stuff. Yes, he will run. Can he play an entire season? Still very questionable for me. I have him as the 9th best fantasy quarterback at the end of the season, just outside the top 7. So I'm going to go sell on that.
All right, we'll start with that Cincinnati debacle.
Yeah, let's start there, Scotty, because I know that the Bengals are used to getting off to slow starts under Zach Taylor. In fact, after yesterday, they are now 1-10 in the first 2 weeks of the season under Taylor. This is Taylor's 6th season as the head coach. They're 1-10 under him in the first 2 weeks. But
That's
this
crazy.
feels a little worse because this Jamar Chase situation seems like it's going to be a major problem. He only had 6 targets yesterday. Allegedly, he had food poisoning on Saturday, but he played in the game. Told the reporters when they asked him about, why'd you get so few targets? He said, ask Zach. And then there was another question about the offensive philosophy. He said, ask Zach. So there seems to be some friction there. You have Higgins, who's also hurt and not playing. Here is Zach Taylor on another disappointing loss for the Bengals to start the season.
Okay, disappointing start, obviously. Didn't start fast enough on offense with 3 straight 3-and-outs. Lost the turnover battle, essentially 3-0. 1 on offense, 1 on special teams, and 1 on a turnover and downs, and then didn't get any away off of them, and missed a lot of tackles today. Led to 170 yards rushing. So no recipe in that style of game to be able to win. It's very clear. You lose a turnover battle like that week 1, that's going to point you to a loss. So we got to be accountable for that and make those corrections and get ourselves to get ready on the road next week.
Listen, I don't have a problem, to be honest with you, with Chase calling out Zach, saying, ask Zach, because he's Chuck in charge. So, I mean, this is the guy that blew the Super Bowl with his terrible play calling. Higgins caught 2 TDs in that game, and then he won't throw to him on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. Meanwhile, nobody else had made a play the entire game, and you don't give him the ball. That was the first time I ever thought he was an idiot. And now it's painfully obvious that their best player, which is Jamar Chase, is, and don't tell me he's not, because this guy Burrows, he's missed games. He's missed a lot of games. So the guy Chase plays all the time, and he's the one scoring all the touchdowns and making all the plays. You don't throw to him? Why should he have to answer that question? Why don't they throw to me? I don't know. Ask him. He's in charge. Ask him. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not in charge of play calling here. I'm the best player. You don't throw me the ball. Ask the freaking coach. Honestly, 1-10 in games 1 and 2 over the last few years, that's embarrassing. And they don't throw to this guy now. They're going to say they didn't throw to him because he wasn't in training camp because of the contract. Well, he still doesn't have a contract. And he played in the game. Throw him the ball. Like, what is wrong with these people? Who else do they have on the team besides no one? Higgins was injured, and they have one guy that makes plays, and you don't throw him the ball. You deserve to lose.
That's precisely what happened to them. And it ain't, they got a good chance to make that 1-11 next week. They're going to Kansas City on Sunday in week number 2. So a good chance that Zach Taylor's first 2 weeks of this. I think that there's a very good chance that that's the case. Speaking of losing, starting to feel like there's going to be a lot of it for the Giants this year, Scotty, at MetLife. And I'll be the first one to think I thought it was going to be maybe a little different to start out this year. It was not. 28-6. They lose at home to the Vikings. Pathetic performance from everyone. I know Daniel Jones gets the lion's share of the grief from the fans and from the media. But honestly, Scotty, the entire team was awful. The coaching staff was awful too. Here's Dable.
Overall, Brian, what would be your message to your team after this ball game?
Yeah, I thought we prepared well. I thought they gave a good effort. I thought the defense played hard. We gave up a pick 6 down there, and but there's a lot of things to clean up. So again, I got to do a better job all the way around, and that's what I'll do.
What is this guy tripping? He's tripping.
A lot of things to clean up.
Listen, that was that was a 100-year anniversary party. It was an abortion, is what it was. Like the fans, they left the stadium at halftime, and they never came back. They left. The place was empty in the second half. What more do you need to know than you're failing miserably? I am telling you, they are going to turn on this guy Dable like an ex-wife. I mean, he's doomed. Like, because remember, he made the playoffs, and he's the greatest coach ever. Last year, they gave him the hall pass because they stunk. Now they really stink, and they're going to blame him and Jones until they're both gone.
They're all going to be gone, and I'm telling you now, Mara's upset about it, and he's going to look to bring the Giants back with Bill Belichick in January. He's going to hire Belichick to bring the Giants back to glory.
Oh, he had 3 touchdowns. I can't sleep at night.
Buy or sell, Anthony Richardson will be a top 7 fantasy quarterback this season. We're keeping this realistic here. We know that nobody would think that he'll be in the top 3, probably not even the top 5. How about top 7, George? Buy or sell?
If he stays healthy, top 5 is not out of question at all. He's a running quarterback. We know how valuable they can be. My worry is going to be what I mentioned when we talked about the Indianapolis Colts. Boy, man, if Pittman were to go down, there's not a lot to throw. He'll be running for his life half the time there. I like Richardson a lot. Small sample size of what we saw of what he's going to be. I played the 5 games last year before the injury here. So, or a longer season, we'll see if he gets to catch up to him, what he can do. He's going to have to prove he can throw the ball. He'll be down the field here. I'm going to buy this. All right, I want to buy on Anthony Richardson. I want him to be that guy because I want to see the excitement that he can bring. I think smart money might say go the other way because there's so many quarterbacks in that tier that hey, he could have a good year and still not finish top 7. That being said, I think he will show just like he did last year. He's going to be dynamic. I'm buying top 7.
Yeah, reminds me so much of Cam Newton in the early days too. I'm going to sell on this. I think it's too high. I think most leagues take away points for interceptions. If that's the case, I think his numbers are going to be 20-something touchdowns, 15, 16-something interceptions. That's going to negate some stuff. Yes, he will run. Can he play an entire season? Still very questionable for me. I have him as the 9th best fantasy quarterback at the end of the season, just outside the top 7. So I'm going to go sell on that.
So I had a good day overall picking NFL games with you, Carver High. But one of the ones that I got wrong, that I got burned on, was the Titans. I had the Titans, and they were up. What were they up? 17-zip or something? Like, honestly,
yes.
How do you lose that game?
17-0.
Honestly,
well,
like, how do you lose that game? You're winning on the road 17-0, and you blow that. Like, 24 unanswered by the Bears. Seriously, they're not that good. I know they all danced around yesterday like they're world beaters. But in my opinion, the Titans blew the game.
Here was the debut for Caleb Williams, Scotty. 14 for 29 for 93 yards.
He sucked.
No touchdowns, no picks. He was not good at all. The Bears won because the Titans handed it to them. They had a blocked punt returned for a touchdown. They had an awful Will Levis pick six. They had another Levis fumble that led to a field goal. I mean, Levis was pathetic for Tennessee. He was worse, and that allowed the Bears. Bears scored all their points on defense and specials, and that's how you get to 24-17. So here's Caleb Williams for you, Scotty. No, his numbers were not good, but he doesn't care because they won.
You said you don't care about stats as long as you win.
Yeah, don't care about stats. I feel great. I'll be honest with you. I feel great. I understand that obviously the stats were, where I wanted them to be, and things like that. Because I want to go out there and perform to the best of my ability, and didn't do that today. And so, we're going to get better tomorrow. We got this little period, these next 15 hours or so, and then you reset. You get ready for Houston next week, and so. We're going to enjoy this win. I'm going to go dinner with my family, hang out with them, and then from there get back into it and get ready to go. We're going to be better next week.
What's next? He's going to tell me what TV shows he watches. I'm going to is that game in Houston, in H-Town? I think it is.
It's Sunday night game in Houston, yes.
Okay.
Sunday night football in Houston.
Yeah, he's dead meat.
Yes, and Houston, of course, Scotty, they with the win yesterday, 29-27 over the Colts. 2 tutties for Stephon Diggs in that game, his first game as a Houston Texan. So they always
didn't take him long to start up on the sideline on his teammates either, did it? First game.
I did see that clip that somebody sent us of him on the sideline, and that was very early in the game. I mean, I'm talking that was in the first quarter.
He's crazy.
He's a lot to handle, and
eventually they will all hate him. He's painful, and eventually he rubs off on people the wrong way every time.
Every time, but they're off to a good start, that's for sure. The Panthers off to a bad start. I think they were down. Were they down 30-0 in the second quarter? I think. I mean, they were getting their doors blown off. The Saints beat them 47-10. Not a great debut for Dave Canales as head coach, who I was pumping up here on Friday. And people thought he was going to turn Bryce Young around. I'm not sure there's any turning Bryce Young around, Scotty. He was so awful in that game. He threw some picks that, like you see from like some of these awful college quarterbacks. Like that's how bad the interceptions he was throwing in that game yesterday. So they got a lot of work.
I was on the Saints, and I said last week, I just think they stink. The Panthers stink. I like the new coach like you do, but they stink. So it's like they're not good, and neither is he. So I'm not surprised at all at the outcome of that game on Bourbon Street. And everyone and their brother was betting on Carolina. I mean, I don't know how many people on this network had them, too. Honestly, I heard, but the Panthers are awful.
I was telling you how I liked them, and then as the weekend went on and I heard more and more people on Carolina, I was like, this is not great. I don't know if I want to be a part of this and jump on this train. And sure enough, they got blasted. Dolphins beat the Jags 20-17. Obviously, a few things here, Scotty. The Jags built a 17-7 lead in this game. They had that into the second half, and then the Dolphins finally woke up. Tyreek Hill, who before the game was detained by police on his way to the stadium. He was put in handcuffs, of course, for a traffic violation. In the game, though, Scotty, he was himself. 130 yards, including 80 of them on this touchdown in the second half on CBS.
Recovered in the end zone, 20. It goes back 1st and 10 to a turnover by Law. Instead the block, and he's going deep. He's got Hill. Foot race. Driving. 36. Oh, He's a ghost! 80-yard touchdown!
Listen, I told you I like him in the East. I think that I'm a little ahead of myself on that. I don't think they look that good to me. And I think that the Jaguars blew the game. Here's another game. You're up 17-7 on the road, and then you let it slip through your fingers. You got to win those games. Those are the games that you'll regret later in the season. You're going to wish you had that one back. And, you know, it's no different than the Titans. The Titans had that game won, and then they just absolutely laid an egg. And you'll regret that. Listen, I think Hill, it's pretty obvious to me what he got detained for is his mouth. Okay, so we all know who he is, and he's a badass, and he's a superstar, and he makes tons of money, and he's, I'm sure, got himself, a nice fancy sports car and all the money in the world, and nobody tells him what to do. He's like the man in Miami, and he's not going to have it from a cop either. And I'm sure he gave this guy the business, and the guy cuffed him. It's pretty simple. And I've heard all this stuff today about police unions, and everybody's suing everybody and everything else. Here's the deal. See how much shack you can talk to a cop and get away with before you're in a back seat. I mean, you're going to be in a back seat with cuffs on. You think you're badass until they tase you, put you down, cuff you, rack you, and pinch your ass into the back seat of that cop car. They don't give an F who you are. Everybody's got a big mouth until they're in the back of a cop car. You think you're a badass until you're thrown in the back. When they put you in the back, then you're a real small man. He's already small. He's already a little 5-footer, like with a big mouth. That's what got him cuffed. I don't want to hear about anything else about, I wonder what happened here. What happened here was he opened his big, fat, effing mouth. That's what happened. There you go. Story covered from all angles.
The Chargers beat the Raiders 22-10. I'll tell you this. It took me one game, Scotty. I'm out on the Raiders this year. No thanks.
The Raiders.
I'm done with them.
I told you.
And that coach. Some of the decisions that Pierce made in that game, including punting at the Charger 40 with 5.5 minutes to go when he was down 6. Antonio, there's 5 minutes left in the game. You need a yard. If you can't get a yard at the Charger 40, then you don't deserve to win anyway. I'm out. I can't believe I bet on him yesterday, Scotty. I learned my lesson. I paid for information, and the information that I got was I'm not betting on the Raiders anymore this year. That was the information that I paid for.
Listen, I'm going to say it again. He got a lot of money. They gave him that job, and he's no more a head coach than I am. He is not a head coach of anything. He was not a head coach at Arizona State. You know what he did there? He cheated. That's what he did at Arizona State. He cheated. They all cheated. Herm Edwards, all of them. They all cheated and got away with it. It's funny. Michigan, they cheat, and everybody gets thrown in jail, and they lose suspensions, paychecks, games, titles, crucify them. And then at Arizona State, everybody cheats, and they all get jobs at ESPN. And then this guy gets a job coaching the Raiders. My mother could coach the Raiders better than Antonio Pierce. He's not a head coach, and he never will be. And they will rue the day they gave him the job because Mark Davis is a giant male organ. He does not know what he's doing. He never did. He never will. He never learned anything from his father because he's a drip, otherwise known where I come from as a mope. Remember, Carver High, never be called a mope.
There was a lot of fights, too. You had the Palmer and Jack Jones fight on the field, and all the videos were out today of all the Charger and Raider fans fighting in the stands. So you had all of that going on also.
The Raider fans, what a lovely bunch. What a lovely sport.
Buy or sell, Anthony Richardson will be a top 7 fantasy quarterback this season. We're keeping this realistic here. We know that nobody would think that he'll be in the top 3, probably not even the top 5. How about top 7, George? Buy or sell?
if he stays healthy, top 5 is not out of question at all. He's a running quarterback. We know how valuable they can be. My worry is going to be what I mentioned when we talked about the Indianapolis Colts. Boy, man, if Pittman were to go down, there's not a lot to throw. He'll be running for his life half the time there. I like Pittman a lot. Small sample size of what we saw of what he's going to be. I played the 5 games last year before the injury here. So, or a longer season, we'll see if he gets to catch up to him, what he can do. He's going to have to prove he can throw the ball to be down the field here. I'm going to buy this. All right, I want to buy on Anthony Richardson. I want him to be that guy because I want to see the excitement that he can bring. I think smart money might say go the other way because there's so many quarterbacks in that tier that hey, he could have a good year and still not finish top 7. That being said, I think he will show just like he did last year. He's going to be dynamic. I'm buying top 7.
Yeah, it reminds me so much of Cam Newton in the early days too. I'm going to sell on this. I think it's too high. I think most leagues take away points for interceptions. If that's the case, I think his numbers are going to be 20-something touchdowns, 15, 16-something interceptions. That's going to negate some stuff. Yes, he will run. Can he play an entire season? Still very questionable for me. I have him as the 9th best fantasy quarterback at the end of the season, just outside the top 7. So I'm going to go sell on that.
Luke Ayamilhada has just informed us there is a breaking news story, Carver High, in the Spew newsroom. What is happening?
There is. There's actually, unfortunately, a couple of passings today, Scott. James Earl Jones, 93, of course. Voice of Darth Vader, Field of Dreams, etc., etc. 93 for James Earl Jones. And Met legend Ed Kranepool as well today, passing away, unfortunately. So... not a great day from that aspect.
Kranepool and James Earl Jones. James Earl Jones with the dulcet tones. What a great voice he had.
No doubt. The dulcet tones indeed.
Great voice.
All right, I need to get to tonight's games, and you reminded me because you told me that they're doing that stale bit on the pregame show where they show Robert Saleh running up and down the steps at the stadium. So that reminded me that we do have to get to tonight's game. At some point, enough of the guy running up and down the stairs.
Who cares about this guy running stairs? Like, what do I give a flying F? This guy's pregame ritual and training. Like, I'm watching this guy running stairs. Like, what is next?
Final 2 games. Seahawks beat the Broncos 26-20. I'm not expecting much out of either of those teams this year, Scotty, after watching that game. That game was ugly. For long stretches, the Seahawks and the Broncos. So God bless and good luck if you're a fan of those teams. I was impressed with Tampa. 4 touchdowns for Baker Mayfield, 37-20 they won. And I know that everybody's already crowned Atlanta as the champs of the NFC South, Scotty. I know that was done months ago that they're automatically winning that division. But Tampa won it last year. And Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans, they don't look like they're giving it up away, the way they looked yesterday.
That was easy money. I mean, honestly, like, how many games do I have to hit? That was easy money. That, the Saints, I mean, just Dallas, I mean, Pittsburgh, like doink, 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 doink. I mean, my account was just like spinning money.
Spinning right out. And finally, for you, we have not been together since Friday night. Of course, the Eagles beat the Packers in Brazil. The big thing there was Jordan Love getting hurt at the end of that game for Green Bay. MCL sprain. He's going to miss minimum 4 to 6 weeks. We'll see if it's even longer as that. Again, when you get an NFL injury, usually side on the longer side than the shorter side when it comes to this stuff. They're
in trouble. That's a season record right there, 6 weeks. I mean, but what's left after that? 11 weeks. So they're going to have to win like 80% of the games from week 7 till week 18. I mean, honestly, because they're going to lose. They already have lost, and now they're going to lose more.
Right. It feels like when something like this happens and your starting quarterback is going to be gone for a month or more, and in this case, let's just call it 6 weeks, you have to hope, and this is why you need to hope you have a backup quarterback that can minimum keep you at 500, like hold water. Try to go 3-3 until the other guy gets back. Try to keep the season somewhat alive. There's a problem, though, Scotty. They have Malik Willis and Sean Clifford. That's who the Packers have at quarterback. Behind them, they have allegedly talked to Ryan Tannehill about dragging him out from his porch where he's sitting on enjoying a nice, cool summer breeze on his porch having a lemonade. That's that. They need to get him because we saw Malik Willis in Tennessee. Nothing against Malik, but he's not very good. He's not very good at all.
Like, listen, Tannehill's. You know what Tannehill is? He's frankly Joe Flacco. I mean, he can play,
right?
And he knows how to play. And the problem I have with him is he's old now and slow and everything. But so was Joe, and I thought Joe played great for the Browns last year. And if he has to play for the Colts this year, which I bet he will, because Richardson will get hurt again the way he runs the ball. Look, I'm telling you, they got to do something. Or if they're just going to wait for him to come back, I'd say, there's a chance. I know this sounds insane, but there's a chance that injury in Brazil ruins their season.
I agree. That's how bad it could be for them, especially with their quarterback situation. All right, let's get to tonight. We'll start it off. Monday Night Football, final game of week number 1. It is in San Francisco, as we were just saying. Robert Saleh, the Jets, Aaron Rodgers heading west to take on the defending NFC champion 49ers. We'll start with Saleh, of course, who used to work for Kyle Shanahan as the defensive coordinator in San Fran. You'll hear about that 6,000 times tonight. But there are high expectations for this New York Jet team. What does Saleh think about managing those?
Stay in the moment. The noise is going to be the noise. If you win, the messaging will be one way, and if you lose, it's going to be another way, no matter how hard you try to control it. So stay in the moment, focus on what you've got control over, and everything will take care of itself.
Yeah, I think this guy's future is doomed. I do not think he's a good football coach. I think that he was an assistant, and he was good at that. And as a head coach, I think he's been an atrocity. And no one cares at all about him talking about noise and anything else. He hasn't done anything. Like, let me tell you something. They will never win a game because of him. Okay? They're going to win because of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is the head coach of the Jets. This guy is a joke. He has not done anything in New York except lose. What has he done? Honestly, let's stop with all the bullshit. This guy, listening to him is a waste of time because no one listens to him. His team doesn't listen to him. The media doesn't listen to him. I can't even believe we're listening to him, to be honest with you. He's awful, and you can quote me on that. The only thing that will keep them from winning is him. Let Aaron Rodgers run the show, and they'll win some games. Aaron Rodgers is legit. There's no denying that he's legit. But he's also 40-some years old, and he's old. He is old news, trust me. Now, everyone thinks they're going straight to the Super Bowl with this old quarterback. Let's see. We'll see tonight, won't we? Now, he could go out there and give them problems. The guy's a good quarterback. There's no denying he's good. But I will never say that Robert Saleh is good at being a head coach.
Rodgers will be 41 in December. He, of course, last year only made it through 4 plays of the opening Monday Night Football game. He will try to, of course, make it a lot longer than that tonight in San Fran against the Niners, where he historically has not had a good time back when he was a member of the Packers. We'll come back, Scotty. We'll hear from him, and I'll give you all the numbers for tonight. The line, the spread, the props, everything for the Niners and the Jets.
Buy or sell, Anthony Richardson will be a top 7 fantasy quarterback this season. We're keeping this realistic here. We know the nobody would think that he'll be in the top 3, probably not even the top 5. How about top 7, George? Buy or sell?
You know, if he stays healthy, top 5 is not out of question at all. He's a running quarterback. We know how valuable they can be. My worry is going to be what I mentioned when we talked about the Indianapolis Colts. Boy, man, if Pittman were to go down, it's not a lot to throw. He'll be running for his life half the time there. I like Pittman a lot. Small sample size of what we saw of what he's going to be. I played the 5 games last year before the injury here. So, or a longer season, we'll see if he gets to catch up to him, what he can do. He's going to have to prove he can throw the ball. He'll be down the field here. I'm going to buy this. All right, I want to buy on Anthony Richardson. I want him to be that guy because I want to see the excitement that he can bring. I think, smart money might say go the other way because there's so many quarterbacks in that tier that, hey, he can have a good year and still not finish top 7. That being said, I think he will show, just like he did last year, he's going to be dynamic. I'm buying top 7.
Yeah, reminds me so much of Cam Newton in the early days too. I'm going to sell on this. I think it's too high. I think most leagues take away points for interceptions. If that's the case, I think his numbers are going to be 20-something touchdowns, 15, 16-something interceptions. That's going to negate some stuff. Yes, he will run. Can he play an entire season? Still very questionable for me. I have him as the 9th best fantasy quarterback at the end of the season, just outside the top 7. So I'm going to go sell on that.
All right, Mike, what does Aaron Rodgers have to say heading into Levi's tonight?
Well, here he is, Scotty, of course, after missing all of last year. Little chip on Rodgers' shoulder. He's heard a lot from the media, etc. I don't know why they're pumping him all up now. He shouldn't have any chip. Here's Aaron Rodgers.
Coach also said to ask you if you were playing with a chip, because we asked him.
Oh.
So he said ask Aaron.
I mean, how do you not? I've always kind of played with something on my shoulder. You got to, manufacture things from time to time. But, it kind of goes back to the prove it. Who would I need to prove to? Just myself at this point. So, but I have a lot of pride in my performance. So when I take the field, I expect greatness. And because I've done it before, and so that's kind of the standard I hold myself to.
Listen, I'll give him credit. He's had a great career, and he's got 1 ring, and nobody's taking it away from him. So, I think people think he should have 4 or 5 rings, and that's just not happening ever. It's not happening. He's 41. So he's not winning 5 Super Bowls. He's got 1, and he beat my Steelers. It is what it is. But I think that a lot of people think that despite all of his magnificent stats, that at the end of the day, his career's been a disappointment. I mean, let's face facts. When you win multiple MVPs, you're the best player in the league, and you got 1 ring, and thank God he's got 1. At least he doesn't have to go to his grave not winning one like Dan Marino. I mean, honestly, like Dan Marino, you'd think he should have won 4 or 5 of them himself, how great he was. This guy's lucky he's got 1. I really don't see him winning one. Even with this team, the Jets, that everybody thinks is going to the Super Bowl, they never go. They never do it. So let's see him do it.
He's lucky he's got that one, as you say, because he's not getting another one.
Yeah.
He's not getting another one. Not here.
I don't think so.
That's for sure. For tonight, the Niners, -4.5. 43.5 is the total. I'm on the Niners tonight, Scotty, at home. I'm on the Niners.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's dangerous, I guess, in some capacity because, like, this guy's so good. Like, he's like Stafford. He has the ability to strike he's like a rattlesnake. The guy can strike at just flick your finger and he'll strike. He can score in an instant. He can backdoor you. He can burn you. He can fourth quarter you. He can overtime you. He can do you. He has that ability. So giving that guy 4.5 is a dangerous way to make a living. But I do think the Niners are allegedly the cream of the NFC. It's Detroit and San Francisco, right? Those are the two best teams in the NFC. Is there anyone arguing that at this point? And you're taking on a team that's the biggest hype machine on paper I've ever seen in my life. They lost 10 games, and we're listening to people tell me they're going to. He's back, so I'm on the Niners too. But anything's possible with Aaron Rodgers on the field.
I think that we could. I agree with that. Maybe a few years ago, I think that off of playing 4 snaps in the last year and a half, I think we got to see it to believe it now. At 40, almost 41 years old, and not playing for a year and a half. I don't know if that old coming down and backdooring you stuff is there anymore. Let's see if it's there. And if it's there and I see that tonight, fine. I'll play a little bit more cautiously going forward.
And then
but I'm going to go after it.
They got McCaffrey, they got Kittle, they got Debo, they got Ayuk. And I got to tell you another thing. Can I just say this? I am about up to here with these stories about Brandon Ayuk still going to the Steelers. I mean, honestly, shut the F up already. Like, they are still breaking. Yesterday, 2 networks broke stories that he was this close to going to the Steelers. Who cares? He didn't
take it or leave it.
Steelers. Take it or leave it, Auburn. He is a Niner. Why are we still talking about Brandon Ayuk going to the Steelers? It is the most embarrassing story of the summer in football in this country. Has been the absolute butchering of the Brandon Ayuk story from day one. And it's still going on. They're still talking about him being a Steeler up until kickoff tonight. And you know what we're going to hear tonight during the game, don't you? He was this close to being a Steeler. And they can't stop, and they can't help themselves. It's the dumbest story I've ever seen in my life. I'm sick and tired of it.
It's going to be tough to take. Get ready for it. You're going to get more of it tonight, like you said. All right, I have one last thing. I'll give you the props, and then we're going to get through in the final hour all the college football from Saturday. I've got baseball games tonight that we have to get to as well. We have a lot to do.
Buy or sell, Anthony Richardson will be a top 7 fantasy quarterback this season. We're keeping this realistic here. We know that nobody would think that he'll be in the top 3, probably not even the top 5. How about top 7, George? Buy or sell?
You know, if he stays healthy, top 5 is not out of question at all. He's a running quarterback. We know how valuable they can be. My worry is going to be what I mentioned when we talked about the Indianapolis Colts. Boy, man, if Pittman were to go down, there's not a lot to throw. He'll be running for his life half the time there. I like Richardson a lot. Small sample size of what we saw of what he's going to be. I played the 5 games last year before the injury here. So, over a longer season, we'll see if he gets some catch up to him, what he can do. He's going to have to prove he can throw the ball. He'll be down the field here. I'm going to buy this. All right, I want to buy on Anthony Richardson. I want him to be that guy because I want to see the excitement that he can bring. I think smart money might say go the other way because there's so many quarterbacks in that tier that hey, he could have a good year and still not finish top 7. That being said, I think he will show just like he did last year. He's going to be dynamic. I'm buying top 7.
Yeah, reminds me so much of Cam Newton in the early days too. I'm going to sell on this. I think it's too high. I think most leagues take away points for interceptions. If that's the case, I think his numbers are going to be 20-something touchdowns, 15, 16-something interceptions. That's going to negate some stuff. Yes, he will run. Can he play an entire season? Still very questionable for me. I have him as the 9th best fantasy quarterback at the end of the season, just outside the top 7. So I'm going to go sell on that.